Hi friends, David here from Learn Stage Lighting, and today what I want to do is really talk about an interesting kind of segment of lights that you've probably seen, probably heard of, but maybe haven't totally put together what they are. And that is LED strobe type fixtures. Now, why do I say all that? Well, when I started with lighting back in the dark ages when dinosaurs roamed the earth, strobes did one thing, right? They had a bright burst of bright light that they typically shined in people's eyes or for a lightning effect in a theatrical show, and that's really it. It's really all they did. Today, strobes are an interesting fixture because they're really multi-use, okay? So what happened when we went to LEDs is we ended up with a bunch of LEDs on the surface of a fixture like this Gamma Storm X we've got here. Then you went, okay, now we have the ability to do colors as well as white. And then they started breaking them up into segments, right? And so, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I believe, on this fixture. Yep, 8 segments on the front, and now we've got different segments of color, and we can animate stuff, right? And so on and on and on technology progresses, and before you know it, if you're looking for an LED strobe type blinder fixture, there's ones that are in long strips. There's our square rectangle-ish ones like these that kind of fit the same sizing of a traditional type strobe. There's ones like this, for example, that move, that have some movement to them, that tilt. There's some that pan. There's some that also have a frost. And so what I want to do in today's video is talk about what to look for in a strobe fixture today. What types of things it can be good for, how it can help you create great lighting, and of course, where to buy some if you need some, which is Learn Stage Lighting Gear or Above AVL, as we're kind of transitioning to here. So, what is a strobe fixture? Like I said, back in the old days, a strobe was just a strobe, right? It was a flash of bright light. And, with fixtures like these, you can still do this. So right now, I have this running this animation, and the intensity of just the color LEDs right now is 14%. And as you can see it pretty clearly when it backlights my hand. It lets off a pretty good amount of color. So in today's modern strobe, you're often going to have RGB LEDs like this, and we're just going to turn off that animation, okay, that even by themselves can actually be a really bright light, right? If we just take it and fire it back here at our wall, you can see, wow, it actually, a LED strobe, whether it be moving or non-moving, can very clearly wash a wall really well, right? It can take a large surface and just fire a bunch of light at it, right? And I do have one of the windows, one of the blinds open here, which is not helping, but, literally just color up a wall. I can go in here and color mix, any color I want. You can see it too if we turn it to the side. Actually, that might be just a little bit better. There's the camera. You can see here, this whole surface, it's just a really wide, typically, 110, 120 degrees, really wide, really bright bunch of light that you can throw at it. But even that is literally, if we bring those back up all to full, that's literally just my colored segments. So most of these fixtures, actually, let's just kick this down to 0 and come back here. Most of these fixtures are also going to have a center zone, okay? So this one in particular, for example, from Gamma, has the Gamma Storm has 8 cells, basically a full color mixing on the outside. And then these center 4 are bright white, considerably brighter LEDs. Okay, so we take those and we kick those up to full and, master on that part of the fixture. Okay, and you're able to see, wow, we've got a lot of light. I can actually feel some heat off it, which with LEDs means you're really cooking a lot. It's a lot of light being thrown at that wall. Like if we just take that and then on top of that, take our pixel LEDs and turn them to a full red, you'll see there, like, as I kick that red to full into 0 and I go back and forth, like, the red, yes, it impacts the beam, and yes, we see it against the surface, but it really doesn't do all that much, to be honest. And so that's the second part you're going to find out of these strobe type fixtures. So that probably leads you to ask, okay, what are these good for? Well, that's the cool thing about a modern strobe or effect type fixture, is they're actually good for a few distinct uses. The first, of course, is the strobe type use, right? It's very, very bright. It is able to punch, and really, push a lot of light out. You're able to, animate across those cells. And so when you're thinking about animating across these color cells, like, I'm just going to take it here. We just grab our cells here. Maybe we just grab the first 4. And I'm actually going to take the master on this one off. And then I'll take the second 4 and make them red. And now you can see, okay, I'm going to have to turn it down for you to see it, but we've got a great animation going across those where, I've got half of them red, the other half blue. And I could also go, for example, 1, 3, 5, 7, and take those to red, and then I could go to 4, 6, 8, and take those to green, right? And now, if I selected them right, which I didn't, so now I've got green and red and blue, and I could take all of them really, and then play around with an animation here on green, and this is just totally off the cuff. Hoping I missed one of them in my selection. And now, we're running an animation across those center fixtures. And of course, we could also go ahead and run an animation across the bright guys. Right? I'm just going to turn those on to just a very small percent so it doesn't totally blow out the camera. And you can see our strobe tubes are now chasing at a very low level. Okay, that's another effect. And then, of course, a fixture like this one also has the ability to tilt. And so we can, throughout our event, tilt them. So they're able to move, they're able to wiggle to the music, etc. So on a practical basis, what does that mean we can use a fixture like a strobe for? Okay, a strobe type fixture. Well, especially when you've got movement like this, it means it can be a dual purpose fixture, like a lot of times when you hang moving heads, right? Where if I have this behind a stage or maybe in a back row across the ground, I can go and I can use it in the blinder type mode. Maybe it's a couple feet off the ground, etc. But then I can also flip it, right? I could flip it the other way and use it to light surfaces behind the stage. Kick it up to full, flood that thing with light, right? And then I could come back and, in this case, use it to just shoot up in the air and send a bunch of light in the haze in the air, or light at the ceiling, etc. Kind of a third purpose, okay? If it's hanging, really similar, right? You can blind people, you can backlight, or you can kind of go straight down and just flood a stage or an audience area with light. The cool thing about modern strobe type fixtures is that they're essentially just a souped up LED par, okay, that's able to strobe very fast, but as we've noted, and as you can see, you're 100% able to just go, you know what, we're not even going to think of it as a strobe, we're just going to think of it as a wash light, right? And then just go ahead and, just take it, turn on, oops, I didn't turn off the greens, right? But just take it, and we've got this little green-blue across it, and just wash different objects. Like here, I'm washing the entire ceiling of our studio here with a bunch of light. That, I think, is why fixtures like this can be really awesome. Like, we recently had a church buy some ADJ Jolt 300, similar fixture, for Easter, they want to light a cyc or like a big white wall or curtain, right? But then the rest of the year, they want to use it, incorporate it into their set design to do animations across the lens and to do blinder type things and graphics like that. The beautiful thing about a fixture like this, a strobe type fixture, especially if it can tilt, is you can use it multiple places during one event. You can move it around, and you can use it both as a wash light, as a strobe, of course. You can make it flash, right? Of course, we haven't really done that. But you could take it, take them to full, make them strobe, right? Of course, you can do the classic strobe thing, but a lot of the time, you don't have to, and you can still create a big impact. So whether you're doing a metal show, whether you're doing a worship show, whether you're doing a corporate event, strobes like this definitely shouldn't be underestimated. Because they are a lot more than just a flash of light, than just a flash of color. They can wash things and do a pretty good job at it. Actually, a really good job. You'll see at the edges, it might not be quite as smooth as a dedicated wash, but a lot of times it works great. But they can also, be a house light or house color in a pinch, wash an audience, really do a lot more than I think a lot of people give it credit for. So if you're looking to purchase a fixture like this, what do you look for? You're going to see strobes that are waterproof or indoor rated. That's pretty self-explanatory. If you have the budget to go from one that can tilt, I think it's very worth it, because depending on where you put it on your stage, you can get 2, 3, 4 very distinct different looks depending on where you tilt it, plus awesome movements, when you tilt them all at different times, right, and having a cool effect running on them. There are some that pan and tilt. Again, more things to add to your arsenal. The ability to spin that strobe, etc., is pretty nuts. But other than that, the biggest keys are, looking at how many zones you have across it. Like this one, the Gamma Storm X, is a really awesome fixture. It does have 4 zones across, and I don't know how much I love that, just because if you're on a big stage or on any size stage and you want to make all your lights look symmetrical, you would have to program the left and right ones differently. Other fixtures like the Chauvet ones, the Pix M one, no, not the Pix M, not the color band Pix M, it's killing me. We'll put it on the screen. The name is escaping me right now, but the tilting strobe from them, it has 5 zones times 2, so 10 zones total, I believe, meaning that you wouldn't have to program left and right because they have a center pixel. I do really like that. That may or may not matter to you. Others may have less zones, etc. But you do want to look at how many zones it's got. The center strobe tube and how many zones that has, honestly, I don't know. I mean, if you're using a lot of strobe, it might matter to you. To me, not so much a lot of the times. But if you're looking for fixtures like this, if you need advice or you just want to compare some, check out all of them at LearnStageLightingGear.com, also known as Above AVL.com. And we can help you guys there through our contact form, through our quote request, help you find everything you need, compare between them, and help look at your situation, what you're lighting, and recommend the best strobe type or blinder type fixture to you. Just remember, these fixtures, they're not just rock and roll metal eye candy lights. They have actually some really great purposes and can really do subtle things as well as the flashy. And I hope you learned that from today's video. If you did, thanks so much. We'll see you guys in our next video, and we're going to be talking about all sorts of good stuff with your stage lighting, helping you make better events. Remember, if you need any lights, head over to LearnStageLightingGear.com or AboveAVL.com. We'd love to help you guys find exactly what you need and get it at that personalized price. Thanks so much for watching. Have an awesome day. See ya.